Hello buddy, welcome to another video that I haven't done one since I think May, which was me ranting about how I hate One Life in Borderlands. This video is a bit random, but it's a video about Gambit in Destiny, because I just had the idea a few days ago. Since Bungie has been saying lately that they're not doing anything for Gambit this DLC, but they might be doing something next DLC, so I've heard. So I'm interested. I want to put my 2 cents in the ring and actually say what I would like to change for Gambit, since it's one of the main modes I play apart from raids and dungeons. I very rarely do Grandmasters, but it's mostly raids, dungeons, and Gambit really. So, obviously, I want to throw what I think would be good for Gambit. This video is going to be sectioned into 3 little parts with just gameplay in the background, which is just going to be yapping, but there is gameplay for you if you want to watch it. It's going to be sectioned into minor parts, major parts, and complete overhauls. Minor parts are just going to be enemy changes, layout changes, and anything like that. Major parts are going to be how the entire game mode works, and overhauls are going to be basically remapping most of how an entire feature works that's core to the game. We're going to start with minor parts first, because it's a lot easier to start with that off the rip. And honestly, the first part I'd change is the envoys. The envoys are great. They slow down the game and they make it a bit more but they're always wizards, which is kind of annoying. They're always wizards, and I don't like that. I think sometimes there should be maybe just one massive ogre as an envoy, or maybe 3 knights, maybe a light bearer hive if the lucid hive is what you're fighting against, or even better, I was thinking about this, maybe we change the envoy system entirely and make it so instead of taking at the end every now and then 50-50 shot, it's dread. So you'll have weavers and subjugators and tormentors. So the torment will be the primeval and subjugators will be the envoys, or maybe the other way around. Or something similar to that would go really well, I think. Because that'd spice up the ending of Gambit a bit more. Because obviously you do the same thing, you put the motes in, you get the primeval, you kill the primeval, it's always the same, taking primeval, maybe it's a knight, maybe it's a captain, maybe it's an ogre. It's always like a taken primeval, and it normally has similar abilities to all the others. So I think changing it to dread every now and then would definitely spice up the game a bit more. Another thing for a minor change, this is quite an easy one to be fair, is just make the enemies a bit harder. Maybe make it so you're 10 below or 20 below, or make it so there's a game mode where it's what it is now, and then there's a game mode where it's 20 below or 25 below power level. Because that would make the game way harder and way more, like, it'd be slower paced. You'd have to be way better, you'd have to be really locked in. That could be a competitive game mode. And you would have to be there kind of way more safer, playing way more well. So those 2 things combined would already make the game mode much more fun to play for me. Keep in mind, I am a bit more of a hardcore side of the Destiny community. I do master raids, I do grandmasters, I do flawless raids, I do stuff like that. I don't really... So obviously this is coming from a bit more of a hardcore side of the Destiny community than most. But stuff like that would make the game mode a lot more fun, a lot more intriguing to play, a lot more builds, a lot more team based. Because I remember there was a thing called Gambit Prime. I went around for it, and Gambit Prime you had like four like people, like an invader, a defender, a collector, and you all had armor for the different roles, from what I remember. Bring that back. Maybe only as a like competitive thing though, like so you'll have Gambit, you'll have competitive Gambit, maybe called Gambit Prime, easily enough. But instead of your stuff being changed by your armor, you just select a role. Because I think changing everyone's entire armor set just so you can play one game would be well annoying. And some people might not like it. Mess with their exotics, if I remember correctly. I don't know, I wasn't there for Gambit Prime, I don't know how they did it, but just to cover all bases, I'd say don't do that. and then make it so you just select a role, and maybe throughout the game, the more stuff you do for your role, the stronger that role gets, until the very end when you're killing the primeval, and maybe the invader role, if they've killed 4 guardians, maybe their radar's better. Only small things, but maybe like their radar's better, or they do 5% more damage, or the defender gets more health, stuff like that, or the collector gets 2 motes every 1 mote, so like 2 for 1, stuff like that. Like, just stuff to make the game mode spicy. That's more along the major changes than minor changes. This video's already spiraled a bit, but obviously stuff like that's kind of minor and major because it's already been done before. But like, doing those 3 things would be amazing. Imagine that. You go into Gambit, you're 20 below, you have to play really safe, you're a defender, let's say, an invader comes, instantly you have to go chase down that invader while the collector's collecting the motes, you're with your team, and after you've done all that, dread spawning, like, just, it'd be way more difficult, a bit more interesting. And another minor change, I guess, or it could be a major change depending on how you look at it, would be better loot. I don't like saying that because I think people will play a game mode if it's fun nonetheless, but at the same time I know a lot of the Destiny community would only be coming for the loot. So maybe make it so there's a good gun in there, like a good void gun, a strand gun, I don't know. Maybe bring a void rocket sidearm. I don't think there's one in the game just yet, a void rocket sidearm into Gambit. And that's you can use, oh wait no, there's the Lotus Eater. I just remembered about the Lotus Eater. There is a void sidearm. But maybe make like a good one for Gambit, and maybe make a good strand. One of the new weapons in Edge of Fate being a pulse rocket launcher rifle, like a pulse rocket propelled rifle. That would work good as well. That'd also be good. And people would obviously be going into the game mode then, and maybe make another gun for competitive. Maybe make some cosmetic things. Gambit's already got a lot of them with the Gambit shaders, like Gambit Jadestone and such. But maybe make it so there's a bright glowing green armor set with the shader for competitive, if you get a high rank in competitive. Maybe do a Trials of Osiris thing, but for Gambit. Maybe call it something like, I don't know, Drifter's right hands, and then obviously it's competitive Gambit with your 20 below, and everyone's got to be playing their role properly. Because obviously I am going with all of these changes being implemented, but if they don't, the 20 below, you don't have the roles, I guess, that's fine. You can make it so Gambit has a longer version where you have to go to 200 instead of 100, or 150 instead of 100, stuff like that. Or you can make it so you have to kill 2 primevals, kill one, so it's like a relay race, not a relay race, it's like a race, rest, race again, stuff like that. But to be fair, you could make events for Gambit, like, you know, the Crucible has Mayhem, Rift, they just roll in, roll out. For Gambit you could have duo invasions, so 2 people can invade at once, but they don't get an overshield, stuff like that, and they can't see the enemies instantly. So with teamwork, yeah, you could blitz the entire enemy team, but without it, you can't see where they are, you have to just predict, and you'll probably die if you're not using teamwork, if you haven't got an overshield. And the stuff like that, you could do 8v8 Gambit. I don't know how that'd work, obviously that'd be very intensive on the engine, but you wouldn't have as many enemies, because you could make it so it's obviously 30 below for 8v8, so you're 30 below power level, but there's 8 people going at the enemies, so you could have the same amount of enemies as we do now and it'd still be fine because you're just weaker against them. Obviously that maybe make it so you can only have 4 people in a fire team for that mode though, because obviously if you have an 8-person versus people queuing freelance, that's gonna go badly, because those people are gonna be absolutely like dominated, because there's only, yeah, you have to be careful with an 8v8 game mode, but stuff like that, the events, and I just think Gambit needs more attention. Obviously, some big changes, like some actual massive changes, it's way more maps. We need at least 2 more maps, I think. That's not way more, that's a couple. But 2 more maps, maybe one centered around Resurrect's ship, like Route of Nightmares, and then one centered around a Witness theme. Because I'm kind of lacking on the maps, and maybe make it so the spawn location there's 4 on each map instead of 3. I don't really know how they do that one though, but like more maps, more stuff like that would be great. But overall, we've kept it very Gambity. Like, I haven't really changed a whole lot. We've brought back Gambit Prime, we've made it so it's 20 below. We've made it so the game's harder. Oh, that's 20 below, I've already said that. I should have probably been following a script. We made it so there's better loot, and we made it so Dread can spawn. That's all great. That's all gonna keep people coming in. The events are gonna keep people like interested. But even then, if people don't want to play Gambit for all those reasons, even though there's better loot, better gameplay, harder gameplay for people who like having it hard, and a competitive game mode where there's a ranking system. I didn't bring that up. There should be a competitive game mode with a ranking system. All of these would probably bring people coming. People would probably love Gambit then. Maybe make it so you could spawn in allies in Gambit. So instead of having blockers, maybe there's another option where you can have allies. So you can have like a fallen captain from the House of Light join in. Or if you deposit 5 motes, make it a fallen, I wouldn't say a fallen drag, a fallen vandal. So like a fallen vandal into a fallen, maybe a fallen servitor into a fallen captain, stuff like that. Or you can make it so it's Cabal on your side. Cabal turrets, Cabal Scions. So obviously Kyle Scions are massive for some reason, I don't know why, I've never actually looked into the lore for that. That is huge. But you could do stuff like that. This kind of stuff, just making it so the game has more options, it's a bit more hectic, it's a bit more on your toes. You've got to spawn an ally. Do you want to get a blocker on their team? Do you want to invade with your do you want to let your invader invade? But if your invader's dead from an invasion they gave to you, you're gonna have to let someone else go in, like a defender. Did your moat collector die? Well, everyone's got to get back on moat collector duty because the actual main moat collector died, if the rolls are right. It's going to make stasis more viable. I mean, stasis is already viable for PvP, but it seems to be getting worse in PvE lately, I think, that's the shade. So maybe 30 below, stasis would be more useful because you'd just be able to freeze enemies so they stop killing your teammates. Wall of Radiance. That'd be in Gambit. I don't want that come to Gambit, to be fair. It's not meta right now. I don't like Wall of Radiance at all. Song of Flame could become meta. Stuff like that. So obviously, that's the minor and major big updates to the game that have got in. More maps, Dread, stuff like that. What about overhauls? Because obviously Gambit Prime is actually an overhaul. The more I look at it, because it's basically an entire change to the game mode. But what can we do to make Gambit more interesting? To be fair, I haven't really got many ideas for overhauls for Gambit because I think the game mode's perfect already. Is its base. But my main idea would be make it so after 100 you've killed the primeval and you teleport to another map. And then it's a 4v4. Then you go back in and you have to make another primeval. That'd be a separate game mode, but it'd still be Gambit. That's all I can really think of. I don't think that'd go well, to be fair. I mostly want the other changes, like the better loot, Dread, 20 below, stuff like that, and competitive Gambit. I'm not very good at Gambit, to be honest, so I'd be very bad at competitive Gambit. But I do think stuff like that should be added. And more armour. Better looking armour, because we don't really get a lot of that in Gambit. We obviously, I think I like the Invader set for Titan. That's about it. So overall, yeah, that's about it for what I'd change, to be honest. I think that's mostly a pretty good change to Gambit. Now, Is there anything you'd guys want? Honestly, put it in the comments. I'm really interested. For all I know, my ideas have been tried before and they're shit. Like Gambit Prime, I don't know why people hated that, to be fair. So maybe there's a reason. So obviously, just throw one in the comments. Let's speak about Gambit. Maybe make it Bungie give us more stuff about it. There will be more Destiny content, by the way. A lot more, such as raids or dungeons, more likely. I don't know if I'll be doing many raids. Recorder getaways. But yeah, if you all enjoyed this Gambit rant or Gambit idea video, I don't know what I'll call it just yet. Drop a like, subscribe, tell us what you want to change in Gambit. Tell me what you'd want me doing Destiny as well. Seth doesn't play Destiny, so he's not here today. This is just a me ranting video, but Seth and me will be back for a Brawlhalla video, probably the next time this month, at some point this month, sorry. Have a good one, guys, and peace out.